And everybody, we got another great athlete to talk to right now from the CIF. It's Dewey Egan from Torrey Pines. He's a lacrosse player. He is committed to play at UNC next year. There's a lot more to that than him, but that is the briefest introduction. Dewey, hello. Thank you so much for being on the show. Let's start with that. Your decision to become a Tar Heel next year. What was that choice like for you? Tell us about the decision.
So first off, go Heels. I love the school. My process was after my sophomore year. Recruiting starts after September 1st of your junior year. So I kind of always loved UNC. My brother is there right now on the lacrosse team. So that was kind of always something that made me love the school. I've always kind of supported them. So by the time the recruiting process came around, I had already kind of had my eye on UNC. So I knocked out like a group of 3 schools on like a four-day trip. And then by the end of the trip, I finished with UNC and then kind of just committed at the school. I mean, I kind of just knew it was the right spot for me. I loved the campus, the coaches, and then definitely my brother being there was pretty cool.
I mean, rare is that I get to hear from somebody that has it turn out as perfectly as that. Was there a moment where you even had to think about it with the UNC decision, or was it kind of just, you were just like, yes, I'm glad this works for you because this works for me?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of funny because everyone always joked around saying like, they kind of knew I was going to go there. But I had to visit other schools. I just wanted to take the time and have a process. I felt like it was something important to do and something I wanted to look back on and say I did have a process. I looked at 3 schools and I know 100% that UNC is the right decision for me. So looking back on it, it was definitely really cool. I don't regret looking at all those different schools and having a process. But yeah, UNC was just right fit for me.
Sounds like a pretty simple decision. Although you switch now from predominantly red wardrobe to predominantly blue wardrobe. I don't know how well those colors transfer.
Yeah, don't mix too well.
Yeah. Speaking of fashion, though, you are a noted aficionado of cowboy hats.
There we go. Yeah.
I just got to actually have one of my first lessons in cowboy hat from a fellow Torrey Pines student athlete who will remain nameless until the interview comes out. But give us the rundown of what goes into choosing a good cowboy hat.
Oh man. On that day we had he was the man. We had a referee the whole tournament who rocks cowboy hats. He probably had like 2 or 3 cowboy hats at that tournament. A huge cowboy hat guy. So we were buddies with him by the end of the tournament. So we were asking him, get pictures with him. Talking to him. He's a cool guy. It was pretty funny. We got a picture with it after. That was Logan, one of my friends in the photo.
So is this just a one-off, or is this something you're going to be rocking more and more?
I mean, hopefully I'm going to be rocking that a lot more. I gotta get in, look into some cowboy hats probably for season.
While we are on your Instagram, I gotta ask you 2 more things. You and Tegan Boltman, you guys still
yeah.
That seems like a pretty awesome one. But the one I wanted to get to is the art of proper trash talking.
Yeah.
Did you create this? Did you make this yourself? Is this someone else's creation? Because this feels like just the right amount of trash talk.
Yeah,
completely. We've seen some very mean stuff going around social media the last couple of weeks. This seems like good-natured fun. How'd you come up with that one?
Man, so that was my brothers played at Torrey Pines, and my oldest brother Brendan made that when he played Cathedral. So I thought I'd bring it back when we play Cathedral. It's always like a fun game, like a rivalry. So I just felt like I had to bust that out.
It will forever be a favorite on our show in perpetuity. You talk about that rivalry. If you could, let's talk about a little bit of the actual Torrey Pines stuff. You guys are back in action now. I've always struggled a little bit to explain, though, to people who don't know a ton about lacrosse just how elite you guys are and how elite the upper crust of San Diego high school lacrosse is nationally now. So what is it like being back out there with Torrey Pines, and just take us inside the season a little bit?
Oh man, it's it's sick. It's been a long time. We've been waiting to get back the Torrey uniform. So I'm fired up to be back. We're like 4 weeks in so far. We've played one game against CCA, and then we're really getting into the majority of our season starting this Saturday. So we play Foothill, team in I think Orange County. So we're gonna go down there. We're gonna play Foothill, and then after that, we're kind of knocking out games, like almost 3 games a week. So I'm excited. I've been thinking about it a lot just over the past year, just getting back out there. Had our season cut short last year, so I'm fired up to start playing some games. Yeah, I'm really excited. I know all the other guys are too.
I mean, season cut super short. You guys were only probably a couple of games into it. You guys though play the toughest schedule possible, which means out of state teams, out of section teams at a much higher rate than I would say any other team in San Diego high school sports across all of the sports and divisions. But for the teams here in San Diego, who is the big rival? Is it Cathedral? Because I'm trying to figure out who people missed. Or like, there's got to be one game that you're like, yeah, I actually missed playing that one. Is it Cathedral that you're looking forward to the most?
It's definitely LCC.
Okay.
That's like our huge rival. Especially over the past, like, I'd say 3 years, we've mostly been 1 and 2. So it's always a game I look forward to a lot. We probably get the most fans at those games. I mean, we get the most hype for it. I'm pretty fired up. Last year, or in 2019, that was our CIF championship game, so that kind of added to it a little bit. But it's just always a game we look forward to. It's always a close game. They're always a pretty solid team, so it's one of the ones you get up for, and you see that on your schedule, and you're always fired up just for that date, for sure.
Favorite of the uniforms you guys rock? You guys have a bunch of different colors.
It's hard to choose. We got the All Blacks are sick. I love those. Yeah, definitely the All Blacks. Whenever we rock those at home, I'm always these? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those ones really get me up.
You can tell I did extensive research by scrolling on Instagram and nothing else. Yeah, those All Blacks are really nice. With the silver helmets, or do you guys have a black helmet?
So we used to like almost like 4 years ago, maybe like my freshman year, but we kind of just cut it off because the silver helmets, I guess all the guys just love them so much that we're like, you know what, these are just the helmets we want to wear. We don't even want to mix it up anymore.
Fair enough. I asked this question to all lacrosse players, bar none. Are lacrosse goalies the most mentally unstable people in sports?
100%. They're also the best people you'll meet, but they're so funny.
Yeah, I mean it in the most complimentary way possible, because it to me seems like the most deranged group of people, because every goalie that I've met that's worth their salt is like, oh, I don't even like wearing sweats. I just like wearing shorts and taking them off. And you're like, what?
Shout out to Bobby Gavin last year. He's the man. I love him.
But so I graduated high school here in 2009. So lacrosse was just sort of becoming a thing. So I never really got a good look at lacrosse, like good lacrosse, until when I went to Syracuse for graduate school and then kind of coming back, getting to see it. So I, up close and personal, had not seen a lot of this stuff. And then I start going to games and I just start seeing them being like, oh yeah, like he didn't use a stick or anything. He just kind of put his body in the front of a 70-mile-an-hour shot. You're like,
yeah,
no, baseball catchers wear pads. Football players wear pads. You guys brag about wearing less.
Yeah, you gotta be crazy to be a goalie. You know, they're eating shots and like even in games, it's just like you think about it, it's like how do you train, because their whole training is just they're getting shot at so with rubber balls. So it's just like it's brutal. It's definitely it definitely probably takes its toll, but
and I feel
you gotta be somewhat crazy to be in goal taking shots like all day long, really.
And I feel like a lot of it is actually ends up being like you have to go at the person and just kind of guess. And so you're throwing your body in one way and you're sticking the other way, just trying to cover as much space as possible.
My goalie experience is just like limited to playing goalie on my brother. So I know a little bit, but it's more tennis balls. It's not. not
Yeah, I see. Okay, fair enough. I'm with you on that one. I'll do tennis ball goalie. None of the actual stuff. Man, we really appreciate you joining us for a little bit of your time. It's kind of a loaded question, I think, to ask everybody, but I like to give all the high school athletes that come on a chance just to say, what do you think you're going to miss the most about your time at your school or playing for coach or whatever, however you want to answer that, but just what's something that comes to mind when I ask you that question?
Yeah. I mean, Torrey Pines has been awesome. It's been probably the best 4 years, in my life so far. I made a lot of memories, a lot of friends. Sports are a big part of that. That's really where I've made all my friends. So I'd probably have to say, just the relationships, the memories I made over the past 4 years. I know, like, I got like a ton of boys on the team and like a ton of like memories of us like going to practice, even just like training in the off season. All of us are really close. So I'm definitely going to miss the relationships. I'm going to miss the coaches. Yeah, definitely the bonds and everything like that.
Well, thankfully, we have one more season, though, to get to watch you out there and see it all happening. Folks, we'll include all of the schedule information so you can go check out Torrey Pines at any point this season below the interview. Dewey, thank you so much for being on with us. Best of luck this season, and we'll see you out there.